Ah, yes. We are getting so full, learning so much. That's the point. We're asking the question, what's next? And my intention is to make sure that you are inspired with great stories and information so that you can do what's next for you when you leave this retreat. That's what it's all about. And our next guests are going to help us in a different way as we look at collaboration. There are three different groups who are talking about collaboration. Why? Because I know many of us end up doing things by ourselves, alone, and not manifesting our dreams or not understanding how to get it to the next level. So I am encouraging you very strongly to break out of that little bubble and reach out to others who can help you. In this case, this is about collaborating across the generations. I've known for my whole life because there are a lot of older people in my family, and I always was going to them to learn from them and realize that they were learning from me too. We can learn an endless amount of information and ideas and strategies if we just pay attention and don't judge each other. Oh, that person's too young to teach me something, or that person's too old to know what we're talking about. I don't buy it. I think collaborating across generations is the way to go. And I've been working with an organization called encore.org for the whole of the pandemic. I started as a fellow, and that's how I ended up doing some work with AARP, where many of you may know I host a talk show called Real Conversations with AARP that we started in the pandemic. I have since become a senior fellow with encore.org, and their focus is about co-generation is what they call it, working across generations to find the best, to spark great ideas. They're a think tank across generations. And right now, who's going to be speaking with us are Sherreta Harrison and Raymond Jetson. And let me tell you about them. Combining his 30 plus year history of public service with her 15 years of nonprofit leadership, Raymond A. Jetson and Sherreta R. Harrison formed the dynamic intergenerational co leadership team at Metromorphosis. It's a Baton Rouge based social enterprise focusing on transforming communities. And together, Raymond and Sherreta have led the repurposing of barbershops into community hubs, the increasing of private spending with Black and women owned businesses, and the cultivation of the next generation of change makers. Please join me in welcoming Sherreta Harrison and Raymond Jetson.
Hello, Harriet. How are you?
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being with us. And I know you've got a lot of great information to share. And so I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you so much. It is such a joy to be in this space and to just feel the energy that is here. I am moved tremendously by the intentionality that is focused on dreams and executing on them, and the amazing resources that are being displayed here. I am in the moment living my best dream. I grew up in inner city Baton Rouge. I am a product of the urban experience. And my dream, deeply rooted in my childhood, is in making a difference in the world around me. And Metromorphosis is focused on communities like the one that I grew up in. And I have had the experience over the years of this dream maturing and growing. Uh, but one of the most joyous components of it is being able to share dreams with someone else, and in particular, someone who brings a very different perspective to it. And I have had that experience with my partner in change, Sherreta Harrison, who joins me here today. Hello, Sherreta, and welcome.
Hi, Raymond, and thank you also, Harriet, and to all of the Dream Leapers here today. I too am living my dream, and I think it's so interesting, Raymond, that when we talk about what our respective dreams was. It was always about making an impact in communities, the communities that we grew up. And so, Sandra before us and Harriet talked about being from Harlem, and so I know that you are very proud of being from Baton Rouge, and I grew up in Houston, Texas, and we both have had these thoughts and these dreams about how do we make those places where we live and work better. And even though there are about 30 years, a 30-year age difference between the two of us, many of the things that we are working for and hoping for are still the same. And I think one way to look at that is to say, how is it that, someone 30 years younger than me is still wishing for and hoping for and working for the same things that I wish for? But the other part of that is I think it has inspired us to do some really cool things. And Harriet, you read in our bios that we've done the repurposing of barbershops into community health hubs, and we've increased spending. And so some of the work that we're doing um, here in Baton Rouge is very much about how do we build community, and how do we improve the community for those people who live there. And so I mean, I don't know. I think living our dreams and being able to share them with someone is special. Particularly because it's easy to think that your dream, you have to go after it alone, right? It is easy to think that you're the only person who is concerned with the things that you're concerned with, and it's easy to think that you're the only person who is facing the challenges that you're facing. And one of the things that I think we have learned is that that's not true, right? There are people in different ages that have the same thoughts, have the same challenges, and when we work together, we can learn from them.
There's no doubt about that. The thing that I would share is that we began this process simply in working together.
Hmm.
I was connected with Sherreta through one of the leadership development strategies we had, recognized a talent there. But it was in the process of working together that we realized that there may be something here that's beyond just our working together, that there are things that are emerging in this work
Yeah.
that we should lean into. That it not only enhances our work and our efforts at making a difference in urban communities, but it gives us the opportunity to share these learnings with others along the way. And so there have been a few things that have emerged in our work that we'd like to offer with to you in hopes that as you become intentional in building these relationships with others as you seek to live out your dreams, that they may add value. The first is around this notion of gifts, recognizing your gifts, but not only your gifts, uh, but how the gifts of someone else interacts, aligns with yours, and recognizing the ability of those gifts to inspire and to shape and to push. And so, Sharita, what has been your perspective on how this idea of gifts has impacted our relationship together?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because we all have these kind of specific gifts, and I think when you are working across multiple generations, or you're working with people from a different age group, it's you one of the benefits of that is that you have the ability, I think, to not just recognize gifts, but to help those people like hone their gifts, right? And so this you spend a lot of time kind of sharing and getting to know one another, and eventually you begin to play off one another, and so your skill sets and your gifts begin to complement one another. And I think you have done a really good job about recognizing and cultivating gifts within our community from younger people. But I will say that the thing that I think makes it most special is that you have also kind of stepped aside and given people the room to develop their own gifts, right? And so there's one thing to have a mentor that is able to pour into you what they've learned, but it's also nice to be able to, to connect with someone who has enough belief or faith in you to say, okay, go out on your own and try this, and I'll be always be there to support you. And so I think that's one of the things about working across generations is you have this kind of two-way street for people who can support and complement what's uniquely yours.
Yeah, it's totally disruptive to uh, this historical perspective of the mentor mentee, the wise teacher and the young student. The
Yeah,
reality is that gifts are not embedded exclusively in any single generation.
yeah.
That perspective, talents, and so it becomes really. I have learned immensely about. Being innovative and tapping into technology to enhance the gifts and talents and abilities that I have in working along you. Uh, Another aspect of this, Harriet, in this absolutely wonderful experience, asked the question, what's next? And embedded in that question of what's next is this reality that living out your best dream and bringing them to fruition is often a matter of endurance. It
Mm,
happens over time. And we have talked about how having these intergenerational, intentional leadership structures and working relationships
mhm.
are critical because things happen over time.
Yeah.
Share,
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about like I don't know anybody whose dream happens overnight, right? I don't know. I mean, I bet the majority of us on this at this retreat right now have been working on our dreams, have been thinking about this and working toward it for several years now, right? And so this notion of endurance, I think, is important because you're building something, you're working towards something, right? And it helps to have someone who understands that, because there are going to be early mornings and late nights, there are going to be missed events, missed family time. And so I think it's important to have somebody who recognizes that, and can help you through that and can coax you through that. um, it's a journey, right? You're living your dream is a journey, and I think it's important to have somebody who understands that.
Well, I love all that you have had to say. And this is what I said as we began this event, uh, Raymond and Sherreta. We're doing what I call speed leaping. We're just going in, whoop, and gathering up just as much wisdom as we can real fast so that we can share as much as possible. But what a rich discussion. I thank you so much for
Mhm.
pointing out how rich this relationship can be. And this is something culturally that we have known for generations. The wisdom of the elders is something that we understand. Elders understanding that the wisdom of the young people helps to keep the whole journey and relationships and community vital. And the fact that you all are doing this in real time in a community to help folks in the community have a better experience is just living proof that it works. So thank you very much. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
you and look forward to continuing the conversation. Thank you.
thank
Thank
you.
you.